Welcome back. My name's Matt with the follow through. Of course, we got Luis behind the cameras and the lights, making everything look good. Today, we are bringing you the Warm Audio DirectBox Active. Now, really quick, if you don't know what a DI is, it stands for direct input or direct injection. Basically, if you have an instrument that goes directly into a mixer or a DAW, you need something to prepare that signal for the preamp, and that's what a DI does. There's a lot more to it than that, but I'm not going to go super into detail in this video. There's a million videos out there that already do a great job. Go check one of those out and then come right back here. Now let's look at some knobs and things. On the front panel, first you have the amp out instrument switch. Really quick before I get into that, these metal switches are a very nice touch. I mean, they do literally the exact same thing that a traditional push button would do, but I don't know, it's just kind of more fun. Anyways, the instrument mode makes it behave exactly like a normal DI. You plug your instrument in, you go direct. Okay, but the amp out mode is actually fairly unique. You can plug in a speaker level signal out of your amp into this DI. So if you have an instrument that you want to have a little bit of your amp flavor on, you can plug your amp into this DI. Right next to that, you have the input, which is where you plug stuff in. Next to that, a switch for the phase flip. So if you don't have a phase flip on your channel strip, you can do it right here at the source. The jack right next to that is the throughput. So if you're plugged in with an instrument, but you still want to monitor from your amplifier, you can go out of the throughput into your amp, either on stage or in the studio, so you can hear yourself from your amp. Also, if you're in amp out mode, you can plug this out into your cabinet. So again, you can monitor yourself from the cabinet while you're going direct in. Finally, on this side, you have the ground lift. Let's flip it over. You have the XLR output that goes to your mixer or your interface, and then a couple LEDs, and then you have the active passive switch. Now this is the active DI, however, you can turn it into a passive DI as well with this switch. It's got a couple internal batteries that can power it in active mode, or you can power it with external 48 volt phantom power. Something that's super important to remember though, if you're powering it with phantom power, this switch no longer does anything and it is in active mode. Even if you have it switched to passive, it is an active DI. And finally, another really unique thing just for this DI is this variable pad knob. Now most DIs have a pad, but it's normally on or off, and it's normally around 20 decibels. So if you just want to take a little off the top, you can't really do that. Well, on this DI, you turn the pad on, and then you have anywhere from -3 to -30 decibels of attenuation. Super cool feature. And of course it's Warm Audio, so you know it's going to have a nice aesthetic. They put a lot of thought and care into the design of their products, and it really shows. It's got this nice solid feel with a metal housing. You know it's never going to get damaged. When Warm Audio gave me this demo, I took it to a live environment and I put it on a bass guitar. Now, I replaced a DI that's really popular, very well known. You guys would know it if I said it. And so I didn't expect to hear a big difference because it's a good sounding DI. But man, I was surprised. It was a huge difference and it was immediately apparent. All of a sudden, the bass seemed like the spectrum opened up. It had a bunch of presence that just wasn't there before. And then I plugged it into an acoustic guitar and had a very similar experience. This DI sounded great on anything that I plugged into it.
Something in your mind consumes you forever. Nowhere we can hide. Oh, it follows where you go. In the dark, we'll find out. In the dark, counting all the stars for you. Where did we go wrong? We wanted an empire.
The only thing this DI left me wanting was another channel. It'd be really cool if there was a stereo model as well, but it's a new product, so maybe Warm Audio is working on that right now behind the scenes, and we don't even know. There's been many situations at South by where an artist gets on stage, I'm running sound, and they give me 8 stereo direct lines, and I'm having to scramble to find 16 DIs to handle it. So, having stereo DIs really helps clean up the clutter, keeps things simple. But you can get this version for $200 or the passive only model for $150. Now I know it's really tempting to go into that Guitar Warehouse and pick up the $40 DI. Guys, if you ever listen to anything I ever say, do not buy that $40 DI. It is such an integral part of your sound and your signal chain, it will destroy the way it sounds. You wouldn't buy a $40 amplifier. I mean, I spent $2 grand on my Mesa Boogie, and the last instrument I bought was about $1,500. Why would you buy a really nice instrument and plug it into a $40 DI? You might as well plug into a wet, cardboard box, because that's what it's going to sound like. If you're a musician that's playing live, you need to bring your own DI. Do not depend on the venue to have good DIs. Again, it will make or break your sound. You can slap it on your pedal board. It's super easy to take with you. Also, if you're an engineer, either a live engineer or in the studio, it's pretty common to spend this money or more on a microphone. So why wouldn't you spend it on a DI? People are depending on you to make them sound good, so get yourself some good direct boxes. With all that said, the Warm Audio Direct Box Active is hands down one of the best DIs I've ever heard or used. And that's not even taking into consideration the features on this thing that aren't on other DIs. If you're really looking to step up your sound, I highly recommend the Warm Audio Direct Box Active. So this is the time in the video where I ask you to click on all the things. I'm sure you guys know what to do by now. You've been on YouTube for a while. Leave us a comment down below. We always love to hear from you. And of course, we leave more links to other demos and reviews, or links to our own music that I record. Please go check that out, judge it for yourself, let us know what you think. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time. And now it's... Get in the game! Welcome back, my name's Matt with The Follow Through. Of course,